Welcome to Does That Make Sense? This is part 2 of our astrology dating episode of where we are going through the basic sun signs with Amanda, my co-host, about dating and which star signs would be great for you. So we've got 4. We've got Sagittarians, we've got Capricorns, Aquarians and Pisces
Yeah,
left.
we didn't cover them last time. So
Part 2, here we go.
Okay, Sagittarius, they love freedom. They love fun. They like spontaneity as well. So you can see where Sag and Aries can be a really good match because they're both quite spontaneous.
They're
They're a fire sign.
Okay.
Yeah. So they often are big thinkers and like want to do things on a bigger scale. Maybe without even thinking that through. So it's like, it's the horse. It's the symbol of the horse. So
Wild.
well, yeah, like need to have the paddock door open, gate open. So they need that sense of freedom that they can go. Yes, they can go
To bolt.
Yeah, to go. They can be free. They can, and that they're able to sort of, just someone probably sort of can go along with those big ideas and big dreams that they have as well. So Sagittarius is definitely fun-loving. They're quite fun.
Are they committed people? Do they like
Probably
being
not.
in relationships? Wow. Okay, sorry,
Have I
Sagittarius.
not said this before? I'm not saying you won't see them in a relationship, but they could be the type that's the Peter Pan type that doesn't really want to.
Really?
Could be, but it's like they do need a certain amount of freedom. So I think when you're looking at compatibility, it's like you're going to have to be with someone that's. If you're looking for, so Cancerian, which we covered last week, that likes security, or Taurus that likes stability, they're probably not going to get that from the Sag. But maybe they'll get a certain amount of spontaneity that they wouldn't have otherwise as well. So that's the other thing. So whether or not you're going to get some spontaneity, and maybe they'll bring that bit of fire and energy to go and do things without thinking.
Carefree, by the sounds of things.
Quite carefree, yeah.
Okay. And we have Capricorns.
Capricorns. Well, they say with Capricorns, if a Capricorn makes time for you, because they're very busy. They're busy people, they're ambitious people. They're the goat getting to the top of the mountain.
Oh.
They often, you see a lot of Capricorns really succeed in their field. Tiger Woods is a Capricorn. I'm not saying he succeeded in all areas, but, they...
Certainly not in the dating game.
But he had that ambition and that to be the top of the field. And you see a lot of actors that are Capricorns, and a lot of people that have made it to the top of their field. Michelle Obama's a classic Capricorn.
Yep.
So they're not messing around. Sort of they're really using their time wisely. They're probably quite busy doing whatever they want to do to get where they want to go to. And if they're making time for you, then they're interested in you.
That's
probably
a classic sign.
They are quite organised and structured.
Okay.
So that's a good word for Capricorn, very structured.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they like to
structured
organise.
in the way they do things, yeah.
And what about with dating? Are they
Well,
loving?
like I said,
Are
if they're... Well, yeah, I think like any sign can be all of that because you've got to do the whole chart. But of course, every sign is loving. But as I said, if they're making time for you, then they're really interested in you because, that's a big sign. If a Capricorn's making time for you, then they're
busy.
certainly interested. They're busy. They've got things to do and they want to get to a certain place. And so they're one step at a time getting there.
Yeah, okay. And Aquarians.
Yeah, Aquarians. I always think the
I just want to burst out song whenever I hear Aquarian.
The year, yeah. Well, we've got a. That's right. So, welcome to the
Age of Aquarius.
That's it. Yeah, and that's really very an Aquarian sort of theme because we've had a lot of planets in Aquarius at the moment. So, that's they're probably quite freedom loving once again. They're quite dogmatic
Dogmatic?
No, more dogmatic in that
dogmatic.
sense that just like a Taurus can be right. It's a fixed sign, like a Taurian's a fixed sign. So, it's hard they'll be very set on their way or their thinking. It might be a more alternative way of thinking, but they could be quite maverick in their approach to things.
Okay.
So they're not going to go with the herd.
Okay, so is it my way or the highway mentality?
Yeah, well, yes, they could be like doing something in an alternative approach or doing something in a different way.
Okay.
So, yeah, they can be certainly... so I always find that really interesting about Aquarius. They're sort of rebel-rousers, like the mavericks, the ones that aren't
Molly's an Aquarian.
Yeah, they're not doing it. They're doing it their way.
Yeah, which is him all over.
Yeah.
He's a rebel and of his own right,
Yeah.
and does it his way, and is not persuaded otherwise.
That's right. They just want... That's their way, and that's their true spirit. And you need people like that in the world.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you have to stop and think. They might not be the one that's going with the herd, and that might be difficult if you want people to go along. But you do need people that are, breaking the rules or doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So they're an air sign. They'd like freedom once again. But they're probably, quite fun as well. And
what about in relationships? Do they look for somebody for their forever home, or is it more of you can stay for a while?
No, I think they're definitely committed, but they might, it's they're going to need a certain amount of freedom once again, and they definitely can be the type that will, run to their own. What's that saying? I can't get it. The drum beat to their own drum.
Oh,
yes,
beat to their own drum. Yeah.
So, and you've got to they need to be authentically themselves. So
yeah.
So you sort of probably have to appreciate that about them. So I think that's probably a good fit for them. Someone that's going to let them be their individual. Individual is probably the right word there. So let them be themselves.
I know a few Aquarians, and that really resonates actually, because they're all very much like that. They are their own person. Yeah. And there's no
They'll just do it their way.
Not in a bad way.
No,
in a great way.
But they'll do it their way, and regardless of the consequences that may cause for them.
Yeah. And Pisces. Fish.
So Pisces, yes. So that's another water sign. So in the water signs, like we covered before, so Cancer's a cardinal, Scorpios are fixed. So they're more fixed in like a Taurus or an Aquarius, like they're fixed in their way of doing things. Whereas Pisces blend really well, so they might go along with the flow. They may have boundary issues, or that may be a struggle for them. They may not necessarily tell you there's a problem because they're probably not like big conflict people. Okay, so you may find that, they may just, could be that type that just gets up and goes, and you didn't even know there was a problem and they're gone.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so, they may not sort of bring up when there's an issue.
So they're not big on communication?
Well, it depends what they're... Once again, you've got to get your whole chart done. So it's very much a generalisation, but they might be more passive in their way of, if they're not happy, you can sort of tell. It's not like an out-and-out fight or saying something. Yeah. It's like that, but you can tell, there's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've gone through, so that's the last of the...
Did we say anything positive about Pisces? Because they're quite sort of,
But well, Pisces are quite reserved and gentle.
Yes.
How I see all the Pisces.
And they blend really well in with people. So
yeah, they're just happy to go with the flow.
They are.
Easygoing.
But then they've got to be careful that they're not going with someone else's flow, and they've still got their own direction happening and their own needs being met as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about with dating with Pisces?
You see a lot of classic sort of Pisces with water signs, and you see them with earth signs as well. Probably if it is with... they may have some fire signs in them, because sometimes, the sign that you're in, you might have a bit of the sign before or after you're in.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little bit more complex, but yeah, so they may... they might like a bit of fire. So you might get some Pisces that might like a little bit of fire, a bit of movement sort of going on, and they might like that bravery that comes with a fire sign. Yeah. With Leo, for example. So you might get a Pisces Leo. You might think that's a classic match, but they might bring them a bit of bravery or a bit of fire to their lives. So yeah.
So we've gone through all of the star signs in this episode and our previous episode.
Sure.
So in terms of dating, what would be the best fit generally? So you've got your earth, fire, water.
Yeah, so earth and water usually get on, and so do fire and air. So they
Okay.
tend to get on. So you can see that, because
They balance each
fire
other out.
might be putting out the water, or it might be causing or it might be creating some steam, or but generally speaking, traditionally it's always like the water signs and the earth signs may get on, and the fire and the air may get on a little bit better.
And who just clash.
Well, sometimes you can get two signs that work really well together. I've seen, but it could be a little bit too much as well. But you might get two Libras that work really well together. You might get two Leos that work well together. Some signs, I'm sort of thinking of someone like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas. I think they're born the same day, and they're two Libras that work well together.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get some
They've been
signs that
married
work
for
really
years.
well. Yeah.
One of the most successful marriages in Hollywood, I would dare say.
Oh, I think there's been ups and downs, but yeah.
And the age difference and all of the above.
Yeah, so probably, yes, they've developed a nice balance or harmony together, perhaps.
And what about do you know Goldie Hawn and Kurt what's his name?
Yeah.
Douglas? What's his name?
No.
I can't remember his name.
Like Kurt,
Russell.
That's it. That's it,
Kurt
isn't it?
Russell?
Kurt Russell. Yes, I don't even know their signs, actually. I don't
So
even know.
they are an old school Hollywood couple that has been together forever and a day.
Yes.
So we'll look that up.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of,
Well, he's a Pisces.
okay.
So I've looked that up. And then
there's Goldie Hawn, who I just adore. She's just a bundle of joy.
Yeah, so what sign is she?
She, can I guess? She is she's full of life. She's just Cancer. She's a Cancerian.
I wouldn't think she's a Cancerian because she's so non-traditional. Let's have a look what she is. What is her sun sign? She's a Scorpio.
Oh,
yes.
there you go.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's just...
So she's probably quite
she's
cheap. Well, there's a
youthful and
classic
fun.
Scorpio and a Pisces. There you go.
Okay.
So it's a classic sort of water sign match that sort of works.
Works well. And what about signs that are just traditional sun signs? I mean, obviously, like you said, there's a lot more that goes within a relationship, but ones that are just, you think, bad mix.
Well, you would sort of think possibly, looking at, someone that's like deep, like a Scorpio, where they're going to get on with somebody else that's sort of not as deep.
Yeah, or doesn't want to open up.
Yeah, so that may not work. And then you might get, what I do find, I notice this, is like sometimes like the moon sign can be, so if you've got the same moon sign, there's a certain amount of compatibility because you kind of emotionally get each other.
Yes.
So I think that's the emotional component. So that's where you might get someone that, you emotionally get on with, whether or not there's a physical connection. But
Moon signs has a huge, I've been reading up about it, that moon signs have, they're overlooked often in terms of astrology.
In astrology, I just see the moon sign as just as important as your sun sign. So it's really good to look that up or to know that. Yeah. I think when you just start out, if you just knew the basics, just knowing your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign can be really helpful. But your personal planets, say your sun sign, your moon sign, what your Mercury is in, so what sign that's in, so that's how you communicate, how you learn, and what your Venus is in is like what you would like. So in traditional astrology, what a male might have their Venus in, what a female might have their Mars, might be compatible. I don't know how that, that's...
And what about with gender? So, female, obviously the genetic makeup of a female and the male.
Yeah.
But does it change? Because men aren't as generally, as a general rule of thumb, are not as emotive as females.
Yeah.
So how would...
I don't know, we'd have to bring in someone that's more an expert on that and how that sort of works. But I think just the traditional sort of like what we've been talking about still works regardless of it's a same-sex partner or not.
So it's... Okay. No, we should bring somebody in because I'd be fascinated to know, because the whole makeup of men and women, or female and male, is obviously very different. We're wired differently.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to know whether, if you're a male Scorpio, it's different to being a female Scorpio.
Absolutely,
so female
yeah.
Scorpio's highly emotive, where if it's a male Scorpio, are you not just emotional, but you're also
I think they're
really
emotive,
intense and passionate? Like, is there a tweak?
Yeah, that would be sort of probably more interesting to look at. But I think they're just as emotional. It's like, but once again, it's maybe that ability to detach from the emotions or channel it. So just to give you an example, so if you get a female Aries, might be I've seen a lot of female Aries and male Cancerian relationships that really work. I've noticed that a lot. They're both cardinal signs, so they tend to act. So Aries will act because it's like, let's do something, let's move, let's get this going. If they're making that decision, it's straight away, they just do it really quickly. And Cancerian tend to be cardinals, so they will move like that as well, especially if it's got anything to do with the family, because Cancer's really ruled by family.
Okay.
But if you've got a female Aries, then they're more independent, so that may suit. You get the male Cancerian, that's maybe that bit more, homebody-ish.
Yeah.
And that may really suit having like that independent Aries female.
Yes.
So that can work.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see whether we can bring somebody in to talk about,
Yeah.
more of a gender.
Because
specific.
traditionally astrology's always been really sort of based on mythology, and it's sort of had traditional roles. But I know a fantastic astrologer that's actually evolved with that and has sort of turned on that, and is opening up to sort of like a different sort of modern sort of take on astrology as well.
So what I'd like to know is if anybody out there listening has any questions. Who are you dating? What are disasters that you've had?
Everyone, there's certain ones, like I said with the Scorpio example, it's like I know many that don't want to say they're a Scorpio, because it's like people will say, oh no, I don't want to go out with a Scorpio. So
Poor Scorpios.
I know. I think they're misunderstood as well.
Yeah, we are.
Or
very
Virgos.
passionate.
I hear that with Virgos as well. More the male Virgos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, male Virgos are very hard to understand. But, I'd love to, if anybody...
They start well, is what I'll say.
Oh, yeah, they start well and then it just turns into disaster. And they go into a cave, Aladdin's cave. I know where
We're gonna have Virgos that are gonna be complaining about this.
I know. But if you have had experiences, or if you are two signs that are supposed to have clashed, but you are working in complete harmony,
Yes.
I'd love to, get in touch with us and tell us about it.
Or two signs that work really well together as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And or long-lasting marriages, or of that has stood the test of times. Just,
Yeah.
Or if you only date based on your star sign, do
Yes.
you look at your horoscope and only date people that you really are compatible with?
I've been a serial Virgo dater, but I do have because I know my chart, I've got a lot of Virgo in my fourth
You are
house.
a serial Virgo
Fourth,
dater.
I am in my fourth house, so it probably feels like home to me. So that could be where it comes from as well. So sometimes they might feel like home to you, that certain sign, for some reason. Maybe it's your parents. Are you dating? I see that a lot. Like, are you dating a sign that is the same as your mum or the same as your dad?
Yeah.
You do see that as well.
I also look, all you need to do is look at whether it be blogs or digital platforms or magazines, and it always has, this star sign is suited to this star sign.
Yes.
So if you're one of those people that look at that and only date per horoscope, let us know, because I find it fascinating.
Might be an ease of compatibility. So if you get like that water sign and earth sign, there might be an ease of compatibility. Except for, like I said, with, the Cancer and the Virgo. The Virgos are very critical because they're perfectionists, and that may not suit a Cancerian, but it may not bother another sign as such. Another
Amanda,
water sign.
a question for you.
Sure.
Do you ask everybody that
I
you date?
always do. It's like a
What is
prerequisite. It's like the first thing I'll ask in the first bit,
Is what is your star sign?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
See, I've
And I guess a lot of Virgos as well, because I'm like I can just tell straight away.
And you, yeah.
But then I'll go that step further, and if I can, I get more information so I can look up the chart and see what else is in there.
That's what happens when you're a true astrologer. That's all I
guess.
can say.
Or that could be mine, because I have Scorpio moon. You know, Scorpios can be a little bit like wanting to get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, sort it out, get to the bottom of it. I haven't got
Straight
time
away.
to try and work it out. I just want to know, just give me all the information and all the data now.
Yeah, but in your chart, you may really want to import someone. So it's like you may not have fire in your chart. So it might be great to have, like, I have many friends that are Aries, and they really give you that bit of bravery and they give that bit of fire. So sometimes it's good to bring that in as well if you don't have it. So I don't have any fire sign in my chart, but it's good to get that bit of spontaneity and that bit of fire. So sometimes you're also looking for someone that brings something to you as such. Or anchors you, so sometimes a kite needs an anchor.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a bit of more earthiness to you, so that you can get things done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which it all makes complete sense. It's fascinating. And there's such a big, deep world of astrology that, you know, makes my mind boggle.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely look at bringing somebody in, and would love to hear people's feedback on what their thoughts are or what their experiences are, and the 12 signs of...
Yeah, and maybe look at getting your chart done if you're interested in finding out that little bit more about
you
why.
do chart?
Yes,
still?
I do,
Charts?
So Astrology for Success, so you can go to that and...
Check out Amanda at Astrology for Success, or shoot us through a message in the links below. And don't forget to also follow all of our socials. Does that make sense? I think it's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap.
A wrap for dating
different signs.
Exactly.
So avoid the Scorpios. Is that what we came up with?
No.